Hey everybody, and welcome to the Growth Experience Podcast. I am your host, Chris Dye. Our hope is that by listening to this podcast, you realize that you have a gift. And by believing in your gift, you can uncover your purpose and have vision for your life. Whether you're listening in your car, at home, or watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in, and let's go! Hey everybody, welcome to episode 15 of the Growth Experience Podcast. Super excited for you to join us today. I hope, so we're both under the umbrella of High Adventure Studios that we do a podcast here. So this is cool.
Love
we
it.
finally get to meet up and catch up together on a pod. So I hope that you're tuning in to Girl on the Goal podcast, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And then also the Growth Experience. Feel free to double dip.
Absolutely.
Because, I think both have great, valuable content depending on what you're looking for. I want to remind everybody that this episode is sponsored by Community Land Title now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Community Land Title is a full-service land title and escrow settlement provider here to protect your real estate investments. When you work with their knowledgeable team, you will be guided through the process in a transparent and timely way. I love working with Matthew Purdom. I know you know who Matthew is.
Oh my gosh, he's the best. We love him.
He is amazing.
We love Matthew so much.
It's so funny that I didn't even know when we first started working together, as you get to talk to people, learn about who they are, where they're from and stuff, that we're the same age. I grew up in Oldham County. He grew up in Shelby County.
Yep.
So I don't know. We probably played him in basketball, our school, a couple times.
Yeah.
So just funny, as you get to learn about people. But
he knows Vicki too.
Okay.
So my business partner Vicki with Girl on the Goal.
Yep.
So yeah, because she's from Shelby County and she knows his mom because he works for the school. She works
okay.
for the school system, and
Gotcha.
It's so funny. So they have all the connections too, and I'm
That's crazy,
I'm
isn't it?
just in Indiana and know no one.
Third wheeling.
Yeah, always. That's how it goes.
That's too funny. So yeah, huge shout out to Community Land Title. Love you guys.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for a title company as a realtor, highly recommend Community Land Title. Yes. They'll go wherever you need them to go. They'll answer any question you need them to answer. They will close literally at any time of the day that you need them to. I've had it happen. 9 p.m. Not a regular thing, but special circumstances, they will do it. So yeah, without further ado, Lindsey Davis Edwards here with Statewide Mortgage,
yes,
as well as Girl on the Goal.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit about both because
I do all the things. It's fine.
You do all the things. Statewide is my favorite company too, so that I work with, and I'm excited. I know Vicki Beckham couldn't be here with us today.
I know. Family first is how we do business.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Her kiddo had a school presentation that hit right in the middle of this. So she's like, Tom, I'm so sorry. I can't miss.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. I was excited to talk to her, but that just means we'll have to have you back.
It means we have to do it again.
That's right.
And just hang out more.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. So tell us about you, what you're doing now.
Oh, gosh.
How you got, just a little bit of background info.
Okay. So I am with Statewide Mortgage. I'm a loan officer there. I started there in October. I had been a smaller brokerage previously, just doing processing, and life happens and you're ready to start transitioning and growing your own side of the business. I'd been licensed since the end of May of last year. And so it just kind of worked out that Statewide made me an offer I couldn't refuse. It was just the perfect situation, perfect timing. And I, don't regret it at all. Haven't looked back. It's been amazing. They've become home. Obviously, Community Land Title is there with us, and they're amazing. I've come to love so many people. And ironically today on our podcast next, we're actually having Lisa Heckman, who's another loan officer. Yep. She's going to be my guest today on mine.
Love it.
So, it's just really fun. It's become just a huge family to me, and so many people who are just so supportive. And that was one thing that I really was looking for, being a newer loan officer out on my own. I know the back end. I've been in the support staff. I've done that. But going out on my own, it's just a whole different ballgame. Right. So having all the questions, having things, when things come up that I've never seen before, not just do I have a full support staff at Statewide to help me,
Yeah.
I also have a whole office full of other loan officers, Lisa being one of them, who have just been so amazing. They answer my questions, like, and they're not like, okay, you crazy person, like, you're an idiot, you don't know,
Right.
like, how do you not know this?
And some people do that. Like, I've heard
There
other
are.
realtors, too, to where they're like, I
Yes.
tried to ask my broker questions. And,
Yes.
you know, obviously I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but, you know, some people just are not supportive.
No, and that was a huge, important piece for me, was coming on knowing I had not just entire support staff to handle any questions I have on every step of the loan, but other loan officers that I could go to for advice, or like, how would you work this loan, or have you seen this before? Because it's an ever-changing market.
Right.
And people who've been in the game longer than me, which is pretty much everybody right now, you know, I want to learn from people who have been successful, and that's how you elevate yourself, is just getting to that next level by surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you. And that's the point I'm at in my life. I'm like, I want to be around all those people.
Yep.
And
I feel
it's
that.
just been such an amazing journey for me to have those people there. And, you know, I ask all the ladies in my office, and like some of the guys, I'm like, I just, you know, what would you do here? Like, I'm so lost on, like, this is a confusing one, or like, you know, I just need to vent. Like, this has been stressful, you know? And so I think it's great to get those different perspectives. And that's really what they've offered me, is just an amazing home. And, you know, I love it. I can't say enough good things. They've been great about supporting Girl on the Goal. Everyone rallying around. I had so many of them who donated to our clothing charity that we had just recently.
I didn't know about that. I need to know about these things.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I said we've posted on our social media, but it was just all kinds of crazy, and we're going to be doing it again, so I'll keep you in the loop.
I'm following you now.
Oh, perfect.
So
good.
I should catch it.
Okay, yes, you should.
That's my fault. I'll blame myself.
Okay, good. That's right, because you know you got to follow along things. Come on.
That's right.
But no, it was so funny because Ryan Baxter, who's our sales manager, literally walked past my office, because you know, like, I have a door, but then like the whole wall on the front is just glass,
Right.
and he's like, are you just like becoming a Goodwill now? Like, is this just Goodwill? Because, like, not even kidding, I could walk around my desk, but almost the entire front half of my office, and like where you could like sit and have chairs and stuff, all of that was totally covered in clothes.
Wow.
So like the amount of people who've just given, and like in our whole like community, I just think it's such an amazing thing that people rally for those good causes. They want to see people succeed. And it's so much about collaboration over competition, which is what we at Girl on the Goal believe in.
it.
And we're trying to spread that to other ladies, because it can be so cutthroat in so many sales industries. And, you know, women compete, like, people in general compete.
Oh, listen, no.
It's not
Hold
just
on.
women.
We're going to
but,
pause
like,
here. Everybody's competitive. But I'm going to tell you something. My wife, who's obviously a woman,
Obviously.
she is the most competitive person I know.
Yes.
And, you know, it's funny because, like, if I even with our kids, if she's playing a game, board game, card game with our kids,
Oh my gosh, yes.
she does not let them win. She is ruthless.
Okay, good. That makes me feel
And you've
better.
met her.
Oh, and she's like the nicest, sweetest, very like chill,
Right.
quiet, like so sweet. So I can't really see that side of
Oh, it's
her.
a
I mean,
thing.
I'm all for it though, because I mean, I'm loud, I'm whatever. I mean, we all know that. Anyone who knows me will tell you, like, I am not quiet. I mean, I might be nice and sweet sometimes, but like I got some sass. Like I can be kind of ruthless. So like I totally am gonna be that parent though that's gonna
Right.
be like, yeah, no, you ain't winning today.
Ain't happening.
Ain't happening.
She made fun of me though because Olivia, she just had a gymnastics spring spectacular.
Okay.
That's what they call that.
All right.
I didn't know this.
Okay.
And
I'm not in the gymnastics world, so I know nothing about this.
I knew nothing, right? And so I kind of expected her to be like middle of the road. It's her real like first event, you know, and they score them just like they do like
Oh my gosh.
collegiate and Olympic athletes, right? So out of 10, right? They hold up the
Okay.
sign, 9 point, 8 point,
Okay.
whatever. And for their grade level, they were scoring them. And she did her first routine, and she got a 9.6. And all, you know, I'm competitive in that sports world.
Okay,
right?
I like
And
it. I get it. Me too.
She was like, I looked at her and I was like, 9.6. And, you know, all the other kids, no shade. Everybody's first thing, you know, this is the beginner class, but I'm just going to say it. she scored the highest out of all the other kids in that event.
Yeah, no.
And so now I'm tracking scores, right? And I'm
all right.
sending it to Kelsey as, they go throughout the routine. And so she ended up scoring in like the gold division.
Awesome.
Of
That's
her
exciting.
first meet. And now they bumped her up to intermediate class. So I'm competitive in the sports world. She's competitive on the home front and the game side. But
I love it.
We make a good team.
Hey, I love that. I mean, my husband and I balance each other very well.
Right.
Because he's very laid back and I'm very much not. I had to actually apologize to him last night. I was like, I'm sorry. I've been a little more crazy than normal.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I have too. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I just listed my house last night. My own
I forgot. You
personal
told me
home.
the other day you were doing that. Yeah, well, and ours is under contract. So.
Okay, that's right. You told me
Yep,
that.
so ours is under contract.
We both talked about where are you going? Where are you going?
What's happening? How is everything going?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been a little more of a psychopath than normal between hurting my foot. So if you can see, my foot is like the size of a massive golf ball on the side of my ankle. And because I fell,
wrecked that thing.
I did. I was in a boot last week. So now I'm like all the colors of the rainbow and hobbling around and have cankles. It's fine. Yeah, so between that and he has autoimmune diseases, so he does injections like every 4 weeks. So about like that first week of every 4 weeks, like he's almost down for the count. So that was this week. We're trying to get packed.
Yep.
I'm trying to be a nice, supportive wife, but I'm like, you said you'd help me pack. I need you to help me pack. We've got to get stuff done. You work this weekend. We have no time. When are we going to do everything? And I've been an absolute psychopath. And he's like, I just don't even know where to start. And I'm like, well, me either, but we got to get it done.
Yep.
It has been a struggle in our house. I had to apologize last night.
I just apologized to Kelsey this morning.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. And we're similar people, I think.
Yeah.
So I have literally touched every inch of my home as a real estate agent who's selling their own personal home. It's like, I'm going to make sure that everything a buyer would look at is as good as it can possibly be, right? And so, I've been a little nuts. But anyways.
I just love, because we're like the same person and our spouses are very similar. Not exact, but they're still pretty similar in like their demeanors and stuff compared to us. So I think it's funny because you always end up with that person who balances you. And neither of our spouses are in the real estate world. So it works out. So...
Kelsey, I want you'll listen to this, and maybe it will help knowing that there's more people like me.
Absolutely. Sorry, Kelsey. I'm a total crazy person too, so it is what it is.
I love it. I do want to backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know, you talking about the environment that Statewide provides,
100%,
the supportive nature of having people around you. Love Ryan Baxter.
Yes.
Just an incredible guy, incredible LO. But what I also know about you, and we haven't known each other for very long, is that while you're reaping the benefits of being in this environment, you also make deposits into that environment of high energy, enthusiasm, optimism, because like I said, we're pretty similar. I'm wired to be an optimistic person. And so I know that you provide just your own set of, like I said, good deposits and good environment and good energy into that world. And so I'm sure they're very blessed to have you there. So
I mean, most days. I think I just provide at least entertainment, if nothing else, beteen hobbling around in a booth in the office. Gotta do it. I fell up the stairs a couple of weeks ago. Ryan was in his office and he was like, are you okay? Because he heard me hit my knees so hard on the floor and went and he was like, are you good? Do we need to get you anything? I think I more just provide the entertainment for everyone because I'm just a hot mess all the time. I'm just like, well, I'm here. I'm
always
loud.
with Starbucks in your hand, or
Starbucks, or I have a very large Coke, or I have some form of like caffeine to like get me through. Like I do, like, I gotta have something to keep me going because I don't stop.
Yep.
I go till I'm about to crash, and that's
That's pretty much me too. I tell Kelsey all the time, I'm a sprinter, not a marathon runner, right? So at the end of the day, I'll fall asleep on the couch at 7:00, which gets me in trouble because our kids go to bed at 7:30 or 8. So I have to at least keep my eyes open until 8:15, and then I can go to bed.
Yep, that's how my husband is with him getting up so early, because since he works first shift at the hospital, usually, he's there early, so he goes to bed so much earlier than I do most days. So he's like ready to go to bed as soon as Addie does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'll sit here by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like up because I can't shut my brain off that early
Right.
unless I'm like taking all like my sleep meds and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, just that person.
I get it.
It all goes back to I'm totally a crazy person, but I can't sleep. I wish I could. I think yesterday
man.
I did. I think I've worn myself out so much being a complete psychopath lately that like I went home yesterday afternoon after, a day full of stuff. Went home, iced my ankle, was sitting in his recliner, laid back, had myself covered up, and just kind of put a pillow over on the side, kind of, it's kind of in the corner, so up against the wall. So I kind of leaned over and iced my ankle, got done, took it off, was just kind of getting my feet back warmed up, and I dozed off. And my dad comes in the house because he was like, I text you, am I supposed to be picking Addie up from school today? And I'm like, what's happening? Like,
yes,
what
go
day
get
is
her
it?
quick.
Like, all right. Luckily, he still had plenty of time, but then I just was like, I don't even know what's happening. Like, I was in a daze because I think I've pushed myself so hard lately with so much happening that my body was like, no, it's time to nap, and I never nap.
I never nap
ever.
Yeah,
So,
I can't
do it.
nap anymore. I used to be able to.
Me too.
But I will say, for as high energy and ADHD that I am, I can fall asleep like that. I mean, as soon as my head hits the pillow, it's unreal. But I don't get great sleep. So it's like
I still hate people who
bad
can fall
trade-off.
asleep like that.
Yeah.
I think I have to like take all the sleep meds, like prescription sleep meds, all the CBDs, all the different things I take, and I still lay in bed for probably 45 minutes to an hour before I can ever fall asleep.
So
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
But I will say, at least most nights, I still sleep good. I think I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and was like, what's happening?
Lainey
And
woke
I was
us up
awake.
at 5:30 this morning, but typically she's a 6:30-er, but it was 5:30 this morning. Actually, Kelsey said she didn't. I did sleep well last night. Probably a similar thing. Wore myself out.
Yeah.
Being a crazy person.
Yep.
And so I think that Kelsey was up with her all night, but I was asleep. So I probably owe her some flowers or chocolate or something.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. So you're the first person that I've had on the show so far that I get to, like, I just want to take a few minutes and just talk shop, right?
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm just curious, from the loan officer's perspective, where you see the market right now and kind of what's happening.
I mean, I feel like it's such a crazy time, so it's like I never want to say, like, I feel like everything changes on a day-to-day basis most of the time. Here lately, I feel like one day everything's great, and we're like on a downward slope, and then it's like, nope, just kidding, we're back up. Like, and that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. I will say, I mean, I think that overall the market looks pretty good. I mean, I've been getting rates down in the 6s easily. Even on like a lot of my investor clients, I've been getting down into the 6s.
That's awesome.
You know,
Because they're over 7
usually,
for the last few weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting down into like, the low 7s, upper 6s.
Right.
Even to like mid 6s sometimes. It just depends on the day, depends on how things are. Obviously there's other factors that play into that, but without having to buy them down and do all that, I mean, we've been getting some really great rates.
Good.
I feel like I've been very competitive lately. I think I've only had one loan recently, and honestly, it's just, I have no idea how it was up against a bank, and I don't know how in the world they were actually getting what they were getting. Because without doing some seller concessions, like I couldn't get them approved for what I wanted, so it's like, I just don't know. It's, I think it's a day-to-day basis, but overall, I mean, I feel like the market's looking good. I feel like it's holding relatively steady. I mean, for where we're at, I think that's as good as it's going to be, unfortunately. Like, we're not going to see those 2s, 3s, 4 rates. Like, we're not going to see that. Maybe, like, by the end of the year.
Don't hold out for that.
Do not hold out for that, because that was unheard of.
Right.
We got really lucky with that for a lot of years, but, like, now I just feel like we're just not going to see that, at least for a very long time. I think there's potential if things economy-wise still are looking good, if we can start trending in the right direction, that we could go down. You could see some 5s pretty easily. Yeah. I think that's possible maybe by the end of the year. But
that's what I saw. I saw a report
I've heard projections
for quarter 4 of this year that, potentially low 6s, high 5s again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, I've seen that too. And so that's why, I mean, I'm holding out hope for that. Like, I think it'll be okay. I just don't, I just don't ever call anything till I see it because
you can't.
You can't. Like, I can hold out hope that it's going to get to that, but you just never know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's kind of, there was a rocky period from my perspective at the end of last year when rates just went, right? To where everybody was like, oh, pump the brakes. And it was Thanksgiving and Christmas and all this stuff that typically is slower anyway. Our team and myself, it just like halted.
Yep.
For a minute. We had a couple things going, but.
Well, I mean, that was when I was switching over to be a full-time loan officer at the beginning of October.
Right.
So I didn't really have a pipeline going at that point. Like, I had some people who were like, awesome, can't wait for you to be out on your own, do this full-time. Like, cool, I've got people I'm going to send you. Right. And then I've gotten not a whole lot. Like, I didn't even close my first loan on my own until, like, January.
Oh, wow.
Beginning of February.
Because that period was nuts.
It was so dead because of the holidays and with me just transitioning. Like, it was just, there was a learning curve for me going to a new company, new system. Sure. So it was all the things. And I was like, well, at least I'm ready to go first of the year. Like, I kind of have everything down because nobody wants to buy during the holidays anyway.
Right.
And then it just halted anyway.
Unless you absolutely have to.
Right, exactly.
People don't do that. Yeah.
No. So I was like, well, I guess this is what we're doing now. So poor Ryan, I think he was like super frustrated with me at times because he was like, what the heck? Like, what you got going? I'm like, literally every one of like my solid people that I know, like everybody has nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm calling them, I'm talking to them. Nobody has anything.
Right.
I'm like, it's dead right now. And, it's picked up some and, I've started to be a little more steady since the first of the year. So that's been nice for me. But, juggling a lot myself, it's, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes. But, you do what you can do. And the market's up and down and you just got to take it as it comes. So.
Yeah. In the low supply right now. So people have gotten used to the higher rates, I think, finally.
I think overall,
right?
We're getting there at least.
It's becoming the new normal.
But then it's the inventory is the next problem.
And the inventory is still so low that honestly, that's probably what is holding the market at a steady pace, right? Low supply,
100%.
high demand.
Yes.
So, I have been, our team just listed a house. Shout out to Shanna Curtis, top shelf team, brokered by EXP, baby. Woo! Woo-hoo. She just listed a house in J-Town, which is J-Town.
Yeah.
The 200 range, right?
But that's still that's a big area.
70 showings.
I thought for a minute you were going to say she didn't have much interest. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, that's J-Town, but
70.
That's crazy.
In multiple offers. With an
heck
insane, accepted contract. Obviously not going to reveal the details of that, but
but
absolutely killer, right? And then
that's crazy.
Will's listed a couple homes. He actually did something cool. He did the neighbor to this house. He sold his home and wanted the house kind of like right next door. It was a weird situation, right?
Okay.
So he this person was going to sell for sale by owner. He talked to them, linked them up. So he's running both sides of that deal.
Love it.
And he got phone calls from agents like, hey, I saw this house went under contract. We'll pay X amount. And just crazy stuff. So the low inventory is definitely bringing back 2021 vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Which was nuts.
That competitiveness, it was hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it was very hard on.
Right.
And
yeah.
I've been glad to see some people win. I mean, when I was still processing in 21 and early 22, even as it was still kind of coming off of that, I'm not kidding you. There was a girl, she put in 11 different offers. 11.
It's a bananas.
Finally, on the 11th one, we got an accepted contract.
Yeah.
11. Like, that's insane. And that's a long process. That's months and months of searching and looking for the right thing. So, I've been happy in the last few months, even though rates have been higher, to see people win. Like, it's exciting. You see your people win. Like, you see and, you're helping them take those next steps. And that's what I love because you get to see, on my end, it's okay, I don't get to see, every step of the process, but, I'm getting to make a dream happen. I'm getting to say, hey, yes, you're qualified. Let's do it.
Right.
And so, I still get to be a part of that and then seeing them at the closing table and getting to see it all come together. It's so exciting for me because it's you have the people who are the first-time home buyers who are so excited. I know, I've been there. I was 25 when I bought my house. You know, like, that's a fun time. Then you have, like, your people taking the next steps and wanting to, you know, find their forever home and upgrade, or you have the empty nesters wanting to downgrade and, you know, go to something that's more affordable or more feasible for getting older and, you know, all the different things. Like, it's just such a fun time.
Which is a win in and of itselt, right?
Absolutely.
Even getting people pre-approved right now because the stuff has tightened up. You know, I just had one, you know, we had, unfortunately, if you're looking for a house in Pendleton, oh, there goes my pen. If you're looking for a house in Pendleton, give me a call because we just had to put one back on market, which stinks. But that's part of the real estate too.
It is.
And it was due to financing.
Yeah.
So, you know, even getting people pre-approved with the tighter restrictions and guidelines that are necessary. And so whether it be on the loan officer side or the realtor side, if you do win, don't take any of those wins lightly, right? Because,
absolutely.
It's and I've told all my buyer clients that I've been working with for several months that, hey, this summer's going to be competitive, and here's how.
I think so.
Here's some steps that we need to think about now, prepare ourselves for now, so that when we walk into the home and that's the one you want, we're ready, right?
Absolutely.
Mentally. And I've been fortunate, and a lot of realtors have done this, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with it as long as it's okay with your client. But I've been fortunate enough to never have to waive inspections for a client.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have done that. I've also only had to do two in the last 2 years appraisal gaps.
Oh, wow.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And the second one, we wrote it in, but when the appraisal came, it appraised.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to worry about it. But
Yeah.
the first one we did pay over appraised value by like $5,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all the rage when there's not enough inventory. You got to, unfortunately, be mentally prepared, especially when you're going up against super qualified buyers.
Absolutely.
You got to pull out every tool in the shed to get it done.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I know, like, us just looking for houses just recently,
Right.
It was so difficult. So when we got really lucky in our new house, that's a new build, it's not done till July. So,
Right.
and we had to get ours on the market and get it under contract since it's a contingent sale, because we're only using my income. We're not even using my husband. So like, you know, the way that we were working it, it was like, okay, well, we're going to sell our home. Like, you know, we had thought that maybe we'd keep it as an investment property, but we just decided, we're like, we don't want to deal with that for like right now with our stage of life where we're at with having a little one, wanting to have another little one at some point. We just have so much going on that we were like, it's just not worth it. Let's sell it. So, and we're just going to use the proceeds of our house sale for this one, which is great.
Yep.
But that meant we had to get under contract. Well, now our house is under contract and selling and
Yeah.
will be sold before ours is done. So.
Right.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. We're moving in with you for a few months with us and all 4 dogs.
Right. Oh, you
So-
have 4 dogs?
Oh, yeah, we're up to 4 now.
Oh, my
Oh, it's a
gosh.
thing. Yeah, I know.
My mother has 5 dogs. And
I'm a sucker.
I get on her all the time. She's actually
I don't
keeping
have
my
little
dog
dogs
right
either. Let me put that.
She has
that is-
one Chihuahua.
Oh,
The
okay,
rest
yeah,
are
no,
big.
we don't have any little dogs.
Yeah.
Like, all of ours are at least, like, I think the mini golden doodle puppy is like 35
You have a mini golden
pounds.
doodle puppy. Where did you get it?
A girl in Shelbyville. I can give you her contact.
Please
She's
do.
amazing. Yeah, I got him for a steal. Like, he's amazing. He's
Yeah.
the sweetest thing. Dumb as a box of rocks some days. But, like, he's really sweet. Like,
Yeah.
he's a good dog. Like, in the grand scheme of puppies, he's good.
Right.
So, yeah, no, we have him. And I had my 2 older dogs. And then I
Mm-hmm.
got him because, you know, when my husband and I got married last year, like, I had the baby, I had the house, I had the dogs. Like, I had all the things. And I was like, I mean, it'd be kind of nice to have something together. And he
Right.
wanted a puppy. And I was like, we don't need a freaking puppy.
Yeah.
No. And then I was like, oh, fine. So I saw this cute little mini golden doodle puppy. And I was like, well, it doesn't shed. So we have no
Right.
more shedding dogs in the house.
That's a big thing for us, too.
Yeah, well, my one big dog, my big baby, my big 65-pound lap dog, like, he sheds like no other. And then we have an Aussie mix, and he's just a big mutt. And then I have my Aussie mix, and she doesn't really shed, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But she's my first baby. And then I was like, so cool, we're just not going to have another shedding dog because I'm, like, highly allergic to literally anything and everything.
Okay.
Which is a whole thing in and of itself.
Right.
So, yeah, so I was like, cool, mini golden doodle. Got it, took it home, surprised him with it. And then that was like maybe a week or two after we got married.
Yeah.
And then we're suckers, and our friends were fostering a 50-50 pit boxer mix that we fell in love with because we were always at their house, and we just couldn't stand the thought of anyone else having her and us not getting to see her. So I'm
Now
a
you have that dog,
sucker,
too.
and now she came home with us. So she's also a 65-pound lap dog, but she's the size of the golden doodle.
Oh, wow.
So she's a little smaller, but she's like solid. She's a thick girl, but she's like a couch potato, and she just wants to snuggle 24/7, and she's a mama's girl.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like my husband's dog, and but she's a puppy too. So we have 2 puppies and 2 olders plus the baby, and
Oh, my
our
goodness.
house is
Busy.
a little crazy at all times. We're those people, so
I love it. How
Yeah.
big do mini golden doodles get?
I don't know. He was supposed to be like 20, 25 pounds. He's 35.
Oh, wow.
He's bigger than what I thought he was going to be,
Yeah.
so I'm like, dang it. I thought we were going to have a smaller.
We want 2 smaller non-shedding dogs.
He's still a great dog, and he's not massive.
Okay.
So he's fine. He's just bigger than what I
More
thought he
expected.
was going to
I
be.
gotcha.
Because I was told he was going to get to be like 20, 25 pounds, and he's like 35. But he's
You know,
still
he was
not.
just the beast of the litter, you
He
know?
wasn't even one. No. he's a hot mess. G is just, he's
awesome.
a mess. But yeah, so
That's cool. That's your life.
it's crazy.
In a
but
nutshell.
yes. Oh, that's my life. Dogs, babies, husband, all the jobs and networking and craziness.
Do a
and
lot of networking.
all the networking all the time. Yes, it's fun. It keeps me out there.
Right.
Honestly, I know people are probably like, how in the heck does she do it? Of like going out and like you have a baby and you have a husband at home, and I honest to God, like my husband's the best and he's a trooper because he knows me.
Yeah.
I struggled a lot with being like a single mom, like at the time, and being a new mom. I struggled for a long time with having like, felt like I lost my identity because I was like constantly working. This was before I was even in the real estate industry at all. This is before I was doing mortgages, before I was doing anything. Like I was working for another company after Addie was born. And I was like, I'm just an employee and like, I'm a mom. And I have no life outside of that. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a very social person. Now there are times I need to kind of recharge, and when I wear myself down enough, I'm like, I want to be home and I like to just veg at home.
Yeah, I have those times too.
But honestly, I'm a person that if I'm around people I like and people I get along with and vibe with, like that energizes me. I'm one of those
Absolutely.
people that like,
Absolutely.
if you drain me, I'm like, I got to go. Like, I need to go home and re-energize. But, like, if it's like friends, if it's people I enjoy being with,
Right.
like, that energizes me and I have fun. And and so, like, my husband thinks, well, all you do is go out and drink and network and da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I'm like, it is working. I just can't help that I know so many people networking now because I've put in my time doing it of
Right.
the last year and a half to, well, really, a year and a half to 2 years of networking. Like, I know so many people now that it's more enjoyable because I'm always meeting new people, but I still have like my core group of people that I see so often that it's fun
Right.
and they're friends now through the industry. And, so that's been nice, but like I have to give it to him. Like he's a trooper because when I'm like, okay, I need to go network, like, and he knows there's certain events I have every month, at least once or twice a week. I have late evenings, and he knows that, and he's a trooper and takes care of Addie and the dogs and everything and manages everything at home. But that's how I do it. And I mean, but he knows that's part of the job.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about having fun, although I can have a lot of fun networking because you meet people you click with. Like, it's just fun. Like, you have a good time. Like, but that's been a big thing for me is feeling like that's more of like back to like my old self of being able to be social and do things and work and have an identity outside of just being somebody's employee or Addie's mom or Brad's wife or whatever. Like I kind of have my own identity of like, hey, I'm Lindsey, I'm a loan officer, I own my own business, like I do all the things and I get to have those things because, I think it's hard when you get to certain stages of life and you just have those certain things and you lose your hobbies sometimes as like in certain stages of life, like you don't have hobbies anymore because you have kids and you have a job and you have to do life things. You don't really get to do all the fun things. And so for me, it's been nice because I feel like at least that's kind of a way I can take back a little bit of that independence that I had, like pre-husband, pre-kids, things like that, of having that little bit of time where it's just me like doing my thing.
Right.
And it's not about everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's been nice, like just to feel like I am my own person.
Sure.
So.
Well, I love your vulnerability in that. That's something we talk about on this show quite a bit. Is that there's connection and vulnerability, and being able, now maybe there's a single mom listening to this episode, and she can relate to you based off of her identity is just being her kid's mom, or
absolutely,
whatever that looks like, and so
it's hard.
I feel like this is a good time to move into Girl on the Goal, women supporting women.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And helping each other, lifting each other up from what I've seen from you and from Vicki.
Absolutely.
The things that you believe in, collaboration over competition, like you said.
100%.
I love that, and I'm huge into that as well. So let's kind of start diving in to Girl on the Goal.
Absolutely. So we literally... that is what we are. We are Girl on the Goal. We are women supporting women, women empowering women, and just being there, like creating a safe space and a community for women to open up, be vulnerable, be yourself, find your village, because it takes a village.
Yeah.
Like Vicki and I talk on our podcast. If you listen to us, we constantly talk about the struggles of being a working wife and mother and all the things. And as much as we love our husbands and we love our kids and we love our jobs, like, it's hard. And there's a lot of times, like, we put the disclaimer, we love our kids.
Right. Yeah,
we have to put that disclaimer because we're like, we never want people to think we don't love our families. We love our families, but damn. There are days where it is just hard and you're like, I just want to drop kick you. Like, you have those times.
Right.
But that's why we try to be real and open about it, because so many people want to be like, oh, motherhood's so wonderful. You need to appreciate the time. It goes by so quickly. Yes, it does. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there are hard days, and it doesn't mean I love my child any less.
Right.
It just means there are days I just don't like her very much. There are days, because she is 2.5 and we're in the thick of the terrible 2s. And thank you for reminding me that 3s are worse, because I get that a lot. But, it's like, there are just days I'm like, I love her dearly, but I just don't like her.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And, like, I'm not going to lie. I did not love being pregnant. Granted, I was pregnant in the middle of COVID, like, for actually the entirety of COVID, because I found I was pregnant the week before everything shut down for COVID. Wow. So I did not love being pregnant. Like, I waddled by the time I was like 6 months pregnant. Like, people would talk about, oh, pregnancy's so wonderful. No, not everyone loves pregnancy. Not everyone has this joyous glow about you. Right. It's not. But a lot of women feel like you can't talk about things. You can't have a negative attitude about pregnancy or motherhood or your husband or other things, because you're supposed to appreciate all those things, and they're so wonderful, and they are wonderful, but that doesn't take away that sometimes there's hard days, there's hard situations, there's hard times, and we just want to create a space where you can say, like, I'm just having a bad day, and, like, my family's driving me nuts, like, I just need a break, and that's okay. Like, right now, I'll tell you, my hobbies include binging trashy reality TV after my entire family goes to bed, since my husband goes to bed early and so is my child. I lay on the couch for probably 2 to 3 hours if I have nothing else, like, work-wise to do. I'll lay on the couch or in bed and I will binge watch some trashy reality TV because my husband hates it. And that's how I chill. Or I take really nice, long, hot showers by myself. Yeah. And those are my hobbies. And that sounds sad to say, like, I don't have true hobbies anymore, but that's because I'm in a season of life where I don't have the time or the energy for something. But those are things I enjoy. Right. And that's where I get my downtime, my time to recharge, to not have to have someone yelling at me 24/7 and mommy, 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 mommy.
Literally, it'll be right next to you.
Yes.
Like, daddy, daddy. Like, you can just ask me the question because you're in the proximity that I'll be able to hear you no matter what, right?
Yes. Like, it's just a concept they just don't get sometimes. And but there's just times, and, like, but that's truly what we're about. Like, I really lately, because my life has been so chaotic, I've really been struggling with the motivation to, like, get things done, because I felt so overwhelmed of saying, like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't even know, like, I can't seem to get myself motivated because I have so much going on. and I'm so overstimulated and so overwhelmed. And so I literally just put on there one day and I was like, hey, this is what's up. And everybody was like, oh, well, this is how I get stuff done. And this is this. And it was just a safe space to say, like, I'm on the struggle bus here. What do you guys do? Give me some tips and tricks. And like, it's really helped because everybody's like, well, I make my to-do list of the top like 3 to 5 things I can get done. And after that, I pat myself on the back and I check things off the list and it's good and I reward myself. And then I'm like, okay, what next few things can I get done? Or, you know, if not, what can wait till tomorrow?
Right.
What is priority and what's not priority? And that's, I think, where I get...
is that a platform that you guys use for that?
So we have we obviously have the Girl on the Goal business page on Facebook and Instagram. But on Facebook, we have our community page. And that's women only. Like, we love our guys. It's not to be... But it's not to, like, exclude men, and we're not anti-men. We just want to create that safe space for women to feel comfortable to talk. It's not husband bashing. It's not men bashing. It's not any of that. It's like people get in this mind when we say Girl on the Goal and we're pro women and we're empowering women that we're anti-men, and that's not the case whatsoever. We are just creating a safe place for women to come and be real and authentic. Like, I grew up with a bunch of guys. I get along with the guys. I would rather sit there, drink a beer, watch a game, eat some food, chill out. I don't get into the petty drama that a bunch of women do. And like, that's why I always struggled growing up having a lot of girlfriends. In the last couple of years, though, I've really found the value of having these close girlfriends and creating this close community of women. And now it's like, I don't know what I'd do without my girls. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, we have a group text with a couple of us that are, like, core group of women or different ladies that, like, we know, and, like, we'll just talk and just be like, today is a rough one. Like, what's everybody doing? Who's free for lunch? Who's free for this? Like, I just need to get out. I need some downtime, or I just need to vent or whatever. And we have those times because we're there to celebrate life's ups and downs, the hard, the good. I mean, everything. We want to be there for all those things and be a community that just celebrates each other and uplifts each other when it's hard. Because without community and without support, I think I realized it even more being pregnant in COVID, being a single mom for the first year and a half. Like, I think all those things, like, I just realized how much, like, you need that village. Like, it takes a village.
Right.
And that's not just all women, like, but it takes a village in general. But finding our village of women that we are able to just help each other when we need it, uplift each other, has just been amazing. And seeing the value, and we constantly have, like, our inbox blowing up. How do I get involved? What do I need to do?
Right.
How do I join? What, you know, and, like, people saying, like, I just needed this. And that's how everything started. Was Vicki went through a rough time a couple of years ago, and she just kind of made Girl on the Goal her online diary. And she, as she was going through stuff, like, she would just try to share, like, motivational things that were helping her, and she was getting blown up of, oh my gosh, girl, me too, same sis, like, yes. And then when she and I met last year, because we only met last year, which is crazy to me because I feel like I've known her my entire life, basically. And, like, I was like, oh, I love what you're doing, and we saw this, you know, I kind of followed along, and then she's like, you know, I would love to be able to grow it, and I'm like, so why don't you? And she was like, I mean, I just don't know. I'm like, people need, like, what you're sharing. And so we've really tried to figure out, how do we make this that big community? How do we grow this outside something that's just ourselves? Like, we want to grow, and we don't just want to stay local. We want to grow and be like a nationwide, a worldwide organization. Like, we want to create this huge community of women that just is a resource for each other, a support system for each other. I mean, we have resources there of, hey, you want to learn how to be a real estate agent, or you want to do mortgages, or you want to do whatever. Like, cool, we have resources. We can point you in the right direction. We can set you up with the right people. You need new makeup tips because you suck at applying makeup like me. Like, you do the bare minimum, but you need to glam it up a bit.
Right.
You need to know where the best place to go get your braids done, to get your hair done, who does the best color. You want resources for different things that you need. Like, we've got that too. We want to help and just be a resource on all fronts. And so, you know, that's just what we're about. And so it's been a lot of fun. We just launched our website. We've got our blog on there. We do have our YouTube channel, which is this podcast that we do. Sorry, I'm over here. My poor allergies.
You're
It's
good.
allergy season, y'all.
Pollen's ridiculous up here.
I'm
for
like
sure.
literally allergic to everything, like 24/7. So sorry,
No,
I'm a hot mess.
that's
But
awesome.
so, and we've even so my shirt, you can't really see it well, but it has like our little logo here, and then the back is just the big logo. But like we've got T-shirts, we've got sweatshirts, we've got like our merchandise now. So if you want to, we've got a forum for collaboration. If you're like, hey, I either want to be a sponsor, like I love what you guys are doing. How do I get involved? I want to be a sponsor for something. Let's collaborate on this. I'd love to help you host an event. I've got spaces. I just want to be a member, but I don't even know where to start. Like we've got a collaboration tab. We do have a membership tab. Our memberships, it's either $30 a month, which you can cancel anytime, or $240 for the whole year if you just pay it once. So we can do that. We're just doing some really cool things, and I won't tell all of it because I'd love for you all to reach out and we can talk more and go into detail more of what we have to offer. But we just want to be that safe, vulnerable place.
Right.
And, we just did our charity because Vicki and I both grew up in church. So, charity, giving back, service back to the community is a big thing, and that's a big place where our heart lies. So we want to not just empower women like socially, we want to do it on a bigger scale of how do we empower women and help them better themselves?
Right.
How can we give back to the community? And so we did just recently, it's been almost 2 weeks ago, we had our Success Suits Her event. We did it out in Simpsonville. We're going to be doing another one. It's going to be out probably like southwest end of Louisville to target just a whole other group of women. But we did that, and so it was a hiring fair. But we also collected all these clothes.
Yeah.
Like the amount of clothes and the generosity of the people in the community is just astronomical. Like we could not even imagine. So if anybody's familiar with Simpsonville Gym, their rec gym in Simpsonville, we rented that out for the event. I kid you not, half of the entire gym was full of clothing.
That's amazing.
Shoes, accessories, clothes. And women were able just to come in, take business professional things, like take business casual clothes, shoes, accessories, things that you need, resources you need.
Right.
Come in and get it. We had people there to do free headshots. So if you found an outfit, we had a little tent you could try on your outfit, take your headshot in.
Yep.
We had employers there ready to do interviews on the spot or take their information and applications. We also had people there to help with resume writing. So if you're like, hey, I have a resume, but it needs some work, or I need to actually write a resume, we had people there for that too. And we had people who, spoke Spanish, things like that, to help us really reach any type
That's
of
awesome.
woman who came in, who needed those resources. We didn't have a huge turnout. However, the people who came, the value they found in it made it all worth it.
And that was your first one, you said,
It was
right?
our first one.
So, yeah,
so
as
that's
you
the
build the
goal is to
consistency,
absolutely. So now it's we had planned on donating the clothes to some local charities, but then when we realized how many clothes, we still had 3 full carloads full of clothing and shoes and everything left over after the event. And this is after all the women came and took large amounts of things.
Sure.
Because we didn't limit how much they could take, because if they're in need and they need it, that's what
Just
it's there
take it.
for.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's there for. So, yeah, we ended up 3 carloads full of clothes still. So luckily our good friend Brittany Sells with Call Your Title let us store it at their office because they have
I know Brittany.
some empty space. Yep. So if you go upstairs in Brittany's office, now there's an entire room full of clothes.
That's awesome.
That's going to be used. So we decided, we reached these women. They found such value, so why not do it again? So we're saving those, and and then we'll start taking more clothes. If people want to donate, then please get in touch with me. I can get with you. We'll get it done. And
awesome.
I mean, it's just crazy, how blessed we are to have such amazing people to donate their time, their energy, their services, everything to help other women. And you see that come together, because so many people think that it's about that competition and the pettiness and
There's plenty to go around.
there is.
Yeah.
And just, you hear it all the time that there's all of this, but then you see all these women come together and you're like, but is that really the case, or is that just the perception?
Right.
you know.
Or what people talk about the most.
Right,
Yeah.
because there's like the few instances, and that's not what we're seeing. What we're seeing is that there's so many people who want to help, and they want to collaborate, and it's crazy. Like, it's mind-blowing to see how this is growing and how it's changing people's lives, like, for the better.
Yeah.
So it's just been a great thing for us, you know, and we always like to say, like, you know, we're not like the mean girls. Like, we might wear a lot of pink, but, like, you can always come sit with us.
That's funny.
Like, no mean girls allowed. Our table is big enough. Like, we're creating a table that holds everybody. So there's always room for you at the table. And, yeah. So,
I love that.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's just, we have fun, too.
Yeah.
It's like, what better time can you just get together with a bunch of women and just be yourself and laugh and be goofy and, like.
It's so funny you said. I have a special, obviously, my wife, we have 4 kids. I have a special place in my heart for women, right?
Yep.
If you listen to the first couple episodes of my story, they're pretty intense, but there were a lot of years where I didn't have my mom with me.
Yep.
And so my best friends' mothers became my mother. And
Absolutely.
you know, I have a special relationship with all of them to this day. And so I respect the heck out of women. I mean, you people are incredible. Like, the things that I've seen, she's smarter than me, she's tougher than me, like, ain't no way. And I've watched her have 3 kids that I would want to have a child. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Don't sign me up for that.
No.
And if you did, like, all the pharmaceuticals.
All the drugs. All the drugs. Believe me, I was the same way. I'm
Yeah,
like, give me all the drugs.
there's absolutely no way. But one of the other things I love too, a couple different things, right? So the network that I'm working to build for real estate agents, right, is very similar.
Yes.
So I want to have kind of a back end where real estate agents can come to obtain resources for the things that they're walking through, whether it be a real estate agent, whether it be a parent, whether it be a spouse, and financial. You know, you've helped me partner with Ben, who's a great,
so amazing. He's my
great
boy.
financial resource and just a cool dude, right?
Absolutely.
And so these types of things are Girl on the Goal organizations that I want to partner with Her Hope Kentucky as well, as we set to open the nonprofit. And I can't wait to talk to you more about that. We got some really good news this week. So these drives and the donations and stuff that you guys do, it makes absolute sense for us to have a partnership.
Absolutely.
So that we can bring and partner with you guys and support you guys, because the women that we are going to be impacting, it's going to be pretty profound. So
Absolutely.
I can't wait to have our organizations cross paths on a professional level as well.
I know, it's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be great.
I'm excited.
I can't wait for you to meet my mom.
I know. I thought she might be here today, so I didn't know for sure.
She's watching the grand dog right now. So we get the dog out of the house so all the showings can go smoothly.
Makes
so
sense.
I took her there before, and my dog's a big old fat baby. She's a nervous Nelly, so she's got to have somebody around her if she's not with me. So
love her little sweet
my
heart.
mom loves her grand dog, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently it's a thing.
Well, I wish my parents loved their grand dogs just as much, but they don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And the coolest part about that, what you talk about too, is that just having a heart of service.
Yeah.
Right. I was listening to something the other day where it said, especially when you feel helpless, right, be helpful. And so in those spaces where you feel helpless and you need a safe place to go, because those are kind of far and few between nowadays, few and far. I don't remember how that goes, but
few and far between.
Few and far, you know what I'm talking about. You know, to be able to have that space as a woman that you can go to, that's not me, right? Or not that I don't want to hear it. Sometimes I just can't relate, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to have, you know, for Kelsey for an example, to be able to plug in and talk to other women who are going through the same things, I think is invaluable. So that's really cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're definitely just excited to see how we can grow and how we can impact women. I know right now, like, there's a couple of ladies out in Colorado that we've connected with over social media, Modern Latino Living.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, they are amazing.
Yeah.
And so we've actually been meeting with them and like we're Zooming with them, and we've done some like podcast type Zoom things with them. So we're both kind of sharing out the info of each other's organizations. But we're actually planning like a big collaboration, I think in September, where we go out to Colorado and actually host a big women's event, which is like Modern Latina Living as well as Girl on the Goal together and partnering. And so we're really excited. So it's like, obviously we're doing something right to the fact that like we're reaching women, not just here. We've, there's some other ladies like in other places. So, I mean, we're just trying to grow because we want to create just this huge network of women.
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
It's just cool because the things that they talk about are similar to what we talk about. And it's like, okay, so it's not just exclusive to where we are, where we live, to what, not just Indiana, Kentucky, where things are, like these are issues that are just woman issues, mom issues, wife issues, working people issues. And so it's just things like that we're really, it's nice to be able to talk to them and just kind of see. And we're excited to see where that goes too, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
So seeing who else we can start partnering with. I know we met with, I don't know if you're familiar with Spark Hope.
I am.
Yeah, I kind of figured you probably would be. So we met with Miss Jan from Spark Hope yesterday, actually, to kind of learn more about what they do, because I met her kind of randomly at a big, like, 4-chamber big mega networking event a couple weeks ago. And so we set up some time for Vicki and then one of our friends, Holly, who had introduced me to her, to come out and all of us to
One of my
meet.
team members actually volunteers with Spark Hope, and she just took their
awesome
photos for their Derby event.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Or bourbon event, something like that.
Something, yeah. Well, I know they have a big event coming up Saturday.
Okay. Maybe it was the pre.
Oh, maybe so. So their event is on Saturday of this weekend for like opening day or something for the races.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just so much fun. So we talked to them and we're just so excited because we're like, okay, cool. So they have a lot of things that would work well with us to be able to partner. So I know we're going to be partnering with them on some fun things of maybe doing like a pantry, like they call them like house parties of like collecting like non-perishable items and things like that. So I think we may be partnering with them and then offering up like once we do our, when we do our next hiring event, I know because they work with single parents, not just women, but single parents who are in school at least part-time and working at least part-time, have their kids at least part to full-time custody. They just do so much. So it was kind of cool to talk to them, but like when we do our next hiring fair, we're going to kind of figure out, coordinate with them of like, okay, your ladies, your guys, whoever you've got who are, getting ready to graduate from their programs, what kind of industries are looking in. Let's set up some employers to come out and really coordinate with them to help them with the hiring. Like, let's get their resumes ready. Let's get them some headshots. Let's do that.
Right.
And then let them come shop our closet of clothes, because those things are expensive. Those are things that if you don't already have like business casual clothing and you're going to be expected to wear it and look nice and professional when you go to interviews, I mean, yes, let's be real, times have changed, and I mean, I'm over here wearing leggings and a t-shirt, but like, I
have one pair of ripped jeans, and that's what
there you go
for today.
But it's like times have changed, but still, like, you have to put on the face to go for an interview, because nobody's gonna take you seriously.
Is it still a judgment first?
It's the first impression judgment. So, I mean, there's still that. So it's like you still need things. And if you are in a profession, which a lot of these you're graduating with a degree of some form and you need, most of them, some form of professional clothing, then it's like, okay, we want to still be able to offer that to them, because that stuff gets expensive.
Right.
Shoot, like.
It is. I mean, I just bought, I lost a little weight, just bought some new clothes. I already need to buy new clothes, but I don't want to because it's so expensive.
Well, TMI, but like, look, as moms, all moms, like women, you'll get this. Like, how often do you buy your own like bras and underwear? Literally, I've told my husband yesterday, because he had asked me what I wanted for Mother's Day, and I found something I wanted, and then I was like, just kidding, I'm buying myself bras and underwear. I'll just do that. Don't buy me anything. Because of the amount that I had to spend. Because I was like, I haven't bought new underwear in 3 years for myself, and it's all falling apart. And then I haven't bought bras in like 7 or 8 years, and those just don't fit anymore. So I'm like, just saying. So it's a thing. Like, those things add up, and that's not even clothing like that anybody sees.
Right.
So I'm like, ugh, I get it. Like, we just want to be there for women. We want to see people in general succeed, but it's more special to us when it's seeing those ladies take those steps, you know.
And that's the cool thing about having, like, if you're thinking about starting an organization, or if you're already a part of one and you're struggling with the vision maybe of where you're going, you got to hone in on an audience, right? You got to hone in on a niche. That doesn't mean you want to exclude everybody else.
100%.
But it helps you cater your vision to those specific people, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, you got to have that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, we'll actually be in Colorado in September. So
oh my goodness.
My sister-in-law is getting married.
Ooh,
so we're going to head out there, and so that's
what
a little
part?
fun little trip. I think she'll be just outside of Denver.
We'll be flying into Denver, and we'll be around Aurora.
I think that's where we'll be.
Oh my goodness.
So maybe we'll have to get
when is her
dinner or something. I don't. Kelsey's got it in the calendar.
We'll figure it out. We'll coordinate, because I think
y'all
ours is going to be around like that, like second weekend, not like Labor Day weekend, but it's the next weekend.
I think that's us.
That just means Kelsey's going to have to come, and you guys are going to have to come and
That's
support.
right.
It'll be
That's
fun.
right.
It's going to be
Absolutely.
fun. We're doing it.
One more thing I want to talk about.
All the things.
Because, well, I guess two. So I want to point out. I tell people all the time that watch my show,
one
like,
more thing,
I'm a long rapper, right? So when I say, oh, let's rap, it's going to be like 15 more minutes.
That's fine.
One thing I want to point out is, you mentioned we must be doing something right when other people hear about this and you get the collaboration and whatnot. That's because, like, you're in your gifting, right? And I know that you're gifted at connecting with people.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant at the beginning of the show of what you provide to Statewide as well as what they provide to you. Like, that's your gift.
I appreciate that.
And
Thank
so Girl on the Goal is, and I know you and Vicki probably work extremely well together.
Yes.
And to have your talents and your giftings and hers with the overall, I'm assuming, managing and overseeing.
Absolutely.
And, that is a good partnership. And
Yeah.
so I just want to point that out. That's your gift. I already know.
Thank
right?
you. I appreciate that.
And that's what our show is about. It's the growth experience, growing through whatever to find your gifting and then use it, right? Apply it. And so that's what I want to talk about lastly is, can you kind of touch on, we've hit on some success points, right?
Okay.
Can you kind of touch on maybe you or maybe Vicki or the both of you, maybe an experience that you've had to work through, right? Something where somebody, maybe was a naysayer and didn't agree with what you were doing or didn't believe in your vision, but you continue to push past that to be where you are and to have the expansion and growth that you're having today.
So, obviously we're still so new, because, we did just do our LLC back in November of 22. So, we're not even a full 6 months into this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I will say we've had such positive impact, and this is not this is not husband bashing, I promise you that. But at first, both of our husbands kind of struggled. Because they're like, oh, Girl on the Goal, it's all about, and both of our husbands, they're like big manly guys. Like, they're like, and they didn't understand.
Right.
And not to speak for Vicki and Derek by any means, but I know I think he kind of struggled with the idea of it being supporting women, that it was anti-men. And I know my husband just was like, I love him dearly. Sorry, babe. I love you. But I tell this all the time. My husband just has his moments where it's just dumb, not thinking moments. Y'all, my husband, love his little sweetheart. He ended up, we had to have a long come to Jesus meeting that your wife owns and runs a women supporting women business. That's literally, and this was at the very start of us growing it. So mind that this is all just new and we're figuring it out.
Right.
He shared something on Facebook. This was not his stuff. He just shared it. But it was this whole statistic thing of all these male-dominated industries. Cool.
I think I've seen that.
Okay, I'm all for it. I am 100% for it, because let's be real. They're all, everything that was on this, it was
construction workers.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
These things that are
coal
all
miners,
these percentages of how much male versus female. They're all in the upper 90% are male dominated. Cool. I don't want to be a coal miner. I don't have the skill set. It's not something I would ever think about doing. None of these jobs were anything that I would ever want to do, nor would they fit my skill set, my personality, things like that.
Right.
I know that. I have nothing wrong with saying that there's a male-dominated industry, because there's times and places where men's strengths are different from women's. Let's be real. We're created differently.
Right.
I'm fine with that. However, the comment on this was, and Beyonce says, girls run the world. Clown emoji, clown emoji.
Oh, no.
So we had to have a little come to Jesus meeting. So I was like, babe, what you shared was not bad. The caption on this picture, though, that someone else put is offensive towards women. Like, that could be so bad. Like, that just sounds bad. I'm like, do you not get it? And so it's like, we had to just educate. It wasn't, and I'm like, you know me, you know I'm not I'm not a man basher, like I'm not anti-men, like I'm not. Like I married you, like it's fine. But we had to just get them to wrap their heads around it.
Yeah.
And I honestly think at this point of where we're at so far, other than you get your few mean girls here and there, but really and truly, I think because we're surrounding ourselves with such great people, we've not really had the naysayers. We've not really had the people who've not been supportive. I think it was just from the very beginning, the educating of our own husbands. That was the biggest hurdle we've had to overcome so far, other than just the general business, getting things going and figuring out a direction and honing in. Yeah. That's been the most negative anything, and that's just because they didn't understand, or they didn't see how certain things they would say or do would impact us, and how it kind of reflected on their thoughts. And it's only because they just didn't understand the full picture of what we were about and what we were doing. Sure. Now, they both have Girl on the Goal shirts, and they rep us, and they talk about our business, and they're supportive. And not that they ever weren't supportive, it's just now they get it. Right. And so I think we're just really blessed by that, because we really have been fortunate that there's not been a whole lot of that naysayer. We've not had that. But I think we also set the expectation within our community of women that there's no mean girls allowed. Right. We will not accept that. There's no question. We just don't do that. Yes, people can disagree. No matter what, you just have to be respectful. We're all entitled to our own opinions. You're entitled about that, but there's not going to be this gossiping. There's not going to be all the things. Right. Yeah, we don't do the petty drama. We're not about that. Right. Mean girls, you can go sit somewhere else if that's how you want to be. Then you just don't. Then you shouldn't want to be part of our community if that's the case. Right, because you attract what you are, right? Absolutely. So if you are a person who's centered around service, who values collaboration, who values helping other people, absolutely, that's what you'll attract. 100%. And so I feel like we've been very lucky in that, and very blessed that that's really what we've attracted. Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, I'll keep you posted if we get something real bad. But I feel like we will eventually. It'll happen. But when it happens, but I think she and I both went through our struggles kind of individually, and that's how we've come to Girl on the Goal, to collaborating together, to doing this. And like you said, we work really well together, and that's because I'm the sorry, I get shit done. Sorry, beep. Right. But I get things done. That's my role in the business. I am the COO for a reason, because I get the stuff done. She is the CEO. This was her brainchild, but she also handles if you see social media, that is Vicki. 99.5% of the time, that's Vicki on social media. That's because awesome. I am just not the creative person. I'm not good with creative things. I have zero creative bone in my body for the most part. So that's funny. Yeah, all that's Vicki. She's the creative brain. She does all that. So hats off to her. Anything you want creative wise, that's But yeah, I mean, so I think our strengths and our weaknesses work really well together, because I'm the networker, I'm the face of everything. She's more behind the scenes, because she's a little more introverted. As much as she doesn't seem like it a lot of times, she is more introverted than I am. And she's probably a lot of people, though, more introverted than you. I mean, that would be most people, so I can't really say much. That's probably most people. But she's very much she needs to recharge kind of on her own. She's peopled out a lot easier than I am, you know. Sure. And we all have those days where sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's not, So we do play really well off each other, and we're lucky to have that. I think that's cool. I want to point this out too, though, that whether it be husbands or wives or friends or whatever, right? When you're starting something new and it's your vision, that doesn't mean it's everybody else's vision. Absolutely. And so I think that's a cool delineation to make. Is that, because it wasn't their vision, you have to kind of
vision cast for your own spouse.
Absolutely.
About
yes.
what this is, what it looks like, what you're trying to accomplish, who you're
Yes.
trying to help, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. It was a podcast. I listen to stuff constantly, and Ed Milet, and he was talking about the road less traveled, right? The
Yes.
road to success can be a lonely one. And so whenever you're trying to do something great, right, creating an organization that's worldwide or national or even just state, right,
Yeah.
is something great, right? Where you're trying to help people and impact people at a high level. Doing that
Yep.
takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
A lot of people aren't going to understand.
Yep.
Even if they're close to you, that doesn't mean they automatically just get it, right?
Yep.
And so I actually sent that podcast to Kelsey and like, this is how I'm wired. This is all how I've felt
love
my
that.
entire life.
I love that.
And so I thanked her for being on this road with me and supporting me no matter what.
You might have to send me that so I can send to my husband.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, just so
send
I
it to you.
can be like, just for the record.
Yeah, and it's not because like I was trying to throw it in her face.
No, but just so she sees
I
how
wanted
you're
to
wired.
show her. First, I wanted her to see like this is a great explanation of how I feel like I'm designed, right?
Absolutely.
But then also to show appreciation to her because she's put up with a lot of stuff, right?
Yep.
That maybe she wouldn't have had she not really loved me and wanted to support me.
Right.
So I know she loves me. Love you, babe. Appreciate you. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. I respect the heck out of women because you guys are amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, everybody has their own unique roles. And
Yep.
I think, like you said, everybody has their own gifts too.
Yep.
And so as you're finding those gifts and like you're able to really utilize them, I feel like it gives you so much more fulfillment.
Right.
And like life is crazy and life is just all over the place for me, but I feel like I'm in one of the best spots I've been in a very long time. Even though I'm super stressed, even though like I literally am a psychopath like 90% of the time. So if you talk to me in the last couple of weeks or in the upcoming couple of months, like I apologize. Just look past it if I do or say something crazy. But like I feel like I'm in a great spot of like, okay, I went through the struggles, I went through the hard times, like I went through all of that to get me where I am here, to be able to now speak on my story, be open, be vulnerable with people, and really like show that like there is enough out there for everybody. Like we can all like, we have something to contribute.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Vicki and I both stand. I was like, we really like, we try just to be open because life is hard. Like there's no point in like trying to put on this like face of we're perfect and whatever because that doesn't do it. I don't feel like that does anybody any good. Like to act like we're so perfect or like we're, I don't
doesn't
know,
help
like
anybody,
it doesn't.
right? It
Like
just
you put on
creates this facade.
It does, and then it's like, oh well, I could never do what she's doing because I mean she's got it all together, y'all. We are a hot mess. Like the number of times we have to call each other and be like, what was it we were supposed to be doing? Like, or like, what's going on? And like we have to do. It's just we have no clue most days, and like. Well, we say on our podcast all the time, like we always say, we're just winging it. We're winging it like everybody else. We're just out here being open about winging it.
Right.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing. So I think when you can be that open, vulnerable, and real, like that's when you're going to find your tribe. That's when you find your village that stands alongside of you, supports you, loves you, has your back, and you're really going to see yourself thrive in that because I feel like when you're open and you're real about things and you're not just that perfect facade that you've got on and it's not everything's perfect, I'm wonderful, nothing's wrong, I never have struggles and I'm just here because I got here all by myself, then that's when people see the fake, people can see the BS and everybody sees through it. And I think that
you shut yourself off to growth
you
too.
do.
Yeah.
You really do. Because I feel like being open about the struggles, not only are you able to share and learn and grow from it yourself, but then you can help somebody else learn and grow from maybe where you were, and they can say, well, they did this, I'm here in this spot, I need to not do that, or maybe I need to do that too.
Yeah, that's the wisdom piece, right? My wife and I were just talking about that, like she didn't feel qualified to speak to somebody about something that they're going through. And, you know, I said, no, the fact that you went through that makes you qualified because you have the wisdom now, right?
Absolutely.
And similarly, too, wanting to point out, because it just came to me, there were probably several times where you went to a networking event or a meeting, and maybe it started to get mundane or it wasn't fruitful in that moment, right? But all of this combination of the networking and the reaching out and connecting has equipped you to do what you're doing now.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Yep. And, I feel very blessed that, like, the way I grew up being a preacher's daughter, like, I didn't grow up meeting a stranger. Like, I was kind of, I won't say forced to talk to everyone, but it was kind of just expected.
I'm a preacher. I'm a preacher's son.
It was expected. I know. I'm like, you don't want to say it was forced, but like, it was expected.
Yeah.
But I think that's why a big part of why we are the way we are. Like, we don't really meet strangers. Like, we're able to connect with people on so many different levels. People of all ages and different experience levels. Like, I feel like that's why we maybe are able to connect better in some ways. And I'm blessed for that, and I think that that's a big part of why I am the way I am, and probably why I'm as neurotic as I am sometimes too. Like, I blame my dad.
It's all good. Sometimes you take on other people's problems. Sometimes that's my thing. It's too much.
I take on way too much.
Sometimes I got to scrape some of that stuff off, which is hard.
Yes, it is. Because you don't want to, like.
That's who we are.
Yeah. I mean, y'all, last week I literally showed up in a boot, like, not even 2 hours after having sprained my ankle severely, drugged up on pain meds, to speak at a women's networking event that Vicki and I were speaking at for Girl on the Goal. Like, we were literally the presenters. This had been planned for like 2.5 months.
Wow.
So Vicki's like, why are you here? And I'm like, it's on my calendar. Like, I'm not gonna, like, what am I gonna do? Sit at home by myself because my family all has to work and has errands and appointments. Like, what am I gonna do? Sit at home by myself on the couch, drugged up, like, thinking of all the things on my to-do list I have to do, or that I'm missing something. Like, I have a hard time, like, when I've committed to something, letting people down, saying no. Like, those are things I struggle with, I'm working on, but at least if I say I'm going to do something, I try to stick to my commitment as best I possibly can. So if that means showing up to talk to people on pain meds and in a boot, then I do it.
You got to do it. No, I love it. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so good.
It's so fun. I know, I love it.
It's been so good. We'll have to do it again with Vicki.
Yes, and your mama. Get your mama in here too, so we can.
My mama. We can talk about.
We'll do all of us.
I'll just, fourth wheel it as the man. It'll be fine.
It's fine.
Looking forward to it.
Everything's fine.
So
I love it.
You've mentioned it a couple times in the episode. I like to wrap up with this though. How can people get a hold of you?
100%.
How can people learn about Girl on the Goal?
Absolutely.
What are those plugins again?
Okay, so we are Instagram, Facebook, everything, Girl on the Goal. Just search us if you are a lady wanting to join the Girl on the Goal community. Obviously, you can always like the business page too, but there's the Girl on the Goal community page. That's where we really connect. We have those conversations. We're very real. We allow for people to promote their events, different happenings. We also have girlonthegoal.com is our website. So contact girlonthegoal.com. We've got memberships, collaborations, merchandise. If you want to just learn more about us, we've got about us, what we do. We've got all the fun stuff there. Obviously, you can email us through the website, through any of our social media. You can email us, message us there. If you see me out in public, then please say hi. Come tell me you heard me ramble on for over an hour, and life is good.
Didn't even feel like that long.
No, it didn't feel that long, but I'm looking and I'm like, oh, that's been a little bit. Sorry, I ramble.
No, you're good.
So it's fine. See me out, say hi, tell me you've heard me talk and tell my whole spiel so I don't tell it to you again. But then let's talk about how we can collaborate because we want to partner. I will say for the guys hearing this and kind of saying, okay, what are you guys really about? Like, I actually want to witness firsthand what you're about. Mm-hmm. I know come probably mid-June, I think we're going to do a big kickoff bash for summer. It's going to be Girl on the Goal, hosted. So it's Girl on the Goal sponsors like Margs and Mugs because Margs and Mugs is one of my big networking events that I've hosted a couple of times. And we usually offer free headshots, networking, fun stuff like that. Cool. So we're going to see how we can kind of make that a Girl on the Goal, but with Margs and Mugs and make it a fun thing. So it includes everybody and guys can kind of see firsthand what we're about. Because like I said, we're not anti-men. We're just pro-ladies. Yep. So
we need to get our event that we've talked about together too.
I know.
That's on me. I'll call them again to get it together. We'll do it.
We've just had a million things happening
We
between
have.
the two of us.
What are the odds that we're both selling a house? Can we just talk
know.
about that for a second? That's pretty crazy.
I know. Both preachers' kids, both selling the houses,
Right.
all the things.
Nuts.
We just doing all the things. That's
right.
fine. But
Never stop.
Never.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Absolutely not.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for providing that
Awesome.
information.
Yes.
I want to remind everybody again that this episode is sponsored by Community Land Title.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew, Colleen, Tyler,
Yes.
Abby. I love you guys. And, you know, just an honest and reliable, timely experience anytime that you work with Community Land Title. That's what you can
Absolutely.
expect. And so I always, at the end of every episode, leave everybody with this. We've talked about it a lot, so
Okay.
it's very appropriate. But just want to tell you that you have a gift. It's time to grow in it.